Today I want to provide a little deeper insight to how your type can tend to change during times of stress and during times of growth. It's important to remember that your Enneagram type is fluid and, depending on the circumstance, can show up in a variety of ways, ranging from very healthy to average to unhealthy. Another way to say this would be, depending on the situation, are you using your Enneagram superpowers for good, or are your Enneagram superpowers not serving you well in that moment? This is self-awareness that can be gained by learning about something like the Enneagram. So, I want you to imagine yourself on a timeline, going through your life, experiencing the world through the lens of your Enneagram type. We all tend to move along our timelines every day with this lens, and how you typically behave is rooted in this type. So for me, I'm a 6, and on an average day, I will be reacting and behaving somewhere along the spectrum of using my 6 powers for really positive things, like confidence in a decision I've made without second guessing it, or flexing my loyalty muscle to help see a commitment through all the way to the end. Or some less productive 6 tendencies like continuously challenging or judging something that can then become a barrier to moving on to the next thing. As we move through life, we are always somewhere along our own Enneagram spectrum, and if nothing ever changed around us, we'd most likely stay right there and be pretty content from day to day. But, as we all know, our days are not always average, and along our timeline, we encounter events and experiences daily that trigger change in our behavior. Easier said, the only thing constant is change. Building your awareness around how you may tend to act in these situations will help you to operate in the most healthy and productive areas of your type, and in the types you lean towards during times of growth and times of stress. Finally, don't confuse the word stress as a purely negative word. For the purposes of today, think of stress as situational or a change you can encounter in your environment. This trigger can teach us important things about how we grow from our experiences. Once stress occurs, or the change in your environment, you can begin the longer-term work of intentional growth. Developing new patterns of growth is slow, and it happens over time. So, let's dive in and look at how your type can show up during times of stress or change and in times of growth. Now that you know a bit more about how change can affect your type and what true growth looks like, take some time to discuss with your colleagues your own experiences. You may find that your group has a common experience, for example, living through the year of 2020, that you can discuss. Or feel free to discuss another experience that you've had that's major in your life, becoming a parent, moving to a new city, working in a new job, or navigating through a family crisis are a few memorable experiences many of us have had. Feel free to reference the slide and keep in mind that stress really just means change. It doesn't have to be negative. Change is situational. Healthy and sustainable growth is intentional and takes time. At the end of your breakout, you will be notified by a countdown that your time is coming to a close, and you will be directed back to the main screen. But please don't let the conversation and connection with your colleagues stop here today. My hope is that you will continue to connect with each other and share your experiences, and most importantly, what's working for you. Thank you, and enjoy your conversations. Cerebral, quiet, private, and analytical are some of the traits that are used to describe Enneagram 5s. At the highest level of awareness, 5s can balance high intellect with an understanding of the wide range of the human experience. They are able to communicate in creative ways and can be well connected to others. At an average level of self-awareness, a 5 may tend to spend a lot of time alone in order to fully engage with others when they are not alone. They prefer to problem solve on their own and are more comfortable expressing emotion privately than in the presence of other people. At the lowest level of self-awareness, 5s struggle in social settings where they feel they will be overwhelmed or depleted by interaction. They may not be as connected to their feelings, rather, they may spend more time obsessing about the actual feelings than really feeling them. In moments of great change or stress, an Enneagram 5 will lean towards the tendencies of our fun-loving Enneagram 7s. The watch out here would be if the behaviors become really scattered or disconnected, especially since 5s like to be alone. At their best, Enneagram 5 will find ways to be more open to new ideas. Because Enneagram 5s are considered very deep, in times of stress or change, leaning towards gaining more breadth rather than depth can serve them very well. 5s who are putting intention into growing over time tend to sway towards the direction of the traits of our challenger, the Enneagram 8. This could lead to moments of stubbornness or aggressive assertion, but as self-awareness grows, the 5 can really find effective ways to be appropriately assertive with their thoughts and ideas. Doing things to connect to their physical bodies, such as walking, exercise, or yoga, can help 5s connect better to their authority and move them into the direction of putting their deep thoughts into action.